Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself, Suprit, and this is your AEW Rampage review for August 27th, 2021. Joined by Abhi here. So, Abhi, what you think about this week's Rampage? Because first off, it was a taped show, and the Milwaukee crowd was not hot enough, I guess. So, what you think about the show?
Uh, I thought that this show was a bit, you can say, a down. If we compare it to the last, couple of shows which were live, as you just pointed out, uh, I guess you could say that it was probably just a filler. I guess on the road to their pay-per-view All Out. So I guess they had to, fill it with some stuff, so to speak. Uh, it was decent, watchable. If you hadn't watched uh, the show, you wouldn't have missed quite as much. Uh, you know, the last week's show was, an ample regarding, you could say, the the news and something like that. So this was a big a big down, but you could say they would be filling that up in the coming programming. Next week's show, I guess, would be uh, live. I guess, let's see, it's in Chicago. So, and it's the go home show for All Out. So, I guess it would be a pretty, happening show, so to speak.
But let's talk about the card here. So we had Jurassic Express versus Lucha Bros. So this is the finals of the tag team number one contender tournament. We also had Ty Conti versus the Bunny, and in the main event we had Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian. So they were facing Kenny Omega and Brandon Cutler. So we'll talk about that. But before that, if you are new to Slam Up Wrestling, then make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Check out our other content links provided in the description below. But let's start with some breaking news, some exclusive news, shall we? So let's start with this fellow named Bryan Danielson. So if you watched Dynamite this week, so CM Punk made it official that he is coming to AEW and will be all lit very soon. But it looks like we don't have to wait for the New York show, the Arthur Ashe Stadium Dynamite special. So we could be getting Bryan Danielson in just another week because I think it was bodyslam.net, if I'm not wrong. So they broke this exclusive that Bryan Danielson will be showing up at All Out and not the Arthur Ashe Stadium show because there is some concerns, I think, regarding COVID and the protocols regarding that. So that's why they want to hurry up the Bryan Danielson debut, and that's why we are getting it at the All Out pay-per-view in a week. So thoughts on this whole situation with Bryan Danielson and the other stuff regarding this whole breaking news?
Uh, we had, discussed, and predicted also that, Bryan Danielson would be, debuting on All Elite Wrestling very soon. And now, it is, official that he would be debuting at All Out. There is some concern regarding the Arthur Ashe show, as you just said. That is the primary reason as to why his, debut has been pulled up, so to speak. So, I guess it is, as for, a wrestling fan, it is, all the better that he's getting to, experience the American Dragon, as early as All Out in Chicago, you know, in front of you know, a raucous crowd. So it would be great, absolutely. And uh, the primary reason for Bryan Danielson signing with All Elite Wrestling was that he wanted to work with, Japanese talents, primarily of New Japan Pro Wrestling. That was the reason that a news broke at some point some weeks ago that WWE was talking with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that was due to Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan wanting to work with Japanese guys. So that was the reason. So that didn't materialize because WWE is WWE. So he signed with All Elite Wrestling so that he has the room to work with New Japan guys. The room is endless and, you know, very excited, so to speak. So to as to, see that what would be the matches in the, coming time, and I hope that the this step taken by AEW was only, you could say, a precautionary, so to speak, and they do not get derailed, so to speak, with the lockdown protocol in the coming future. Uh, that's
Like,
just my wish and hope.
can you add in the extra details? Like, I don't know the specific details of not doing at the New York show. Like, what's the exact reason going on there?
It's just, a precautionary, step that they want Bryan Danielson to debut in front of a crowd, and they are skeptical that probably the government, so to speak, they, as probably there some, cases are, increasing at this time. I'm not, aware of that. So they are a little skeptical that as the time comes regarding the Arthur Ashe, Grand Slam show, then the government might, put the lockdown and there won't be any crowd. So they just pulled up his debut to, next week, pay-per-view, so that Daniel Bryan debuts in front of a hot crowd, and they can go about with their uh, regular programming.
But mostly the show will be going on as planned, as you know, with the whole sellout thing. We will be getting the show at New York. But
As of this point, yes.
imagine, if you thought, yes, sorry, Bryan Danielson will be showing up in New York in the stadium, and now with the
Hmm.
news of him coming to Chicago and not New York, so imagine how pissed the people who bought the show for the Arthur Ashe Stadium will be.
Uh, that is just, you could say, it is what it is. The fact that they had to take this, precautionary step, and if there isn't any, thing, and this was just a, you could say, a precautionary tale, so to speak, which would go down in history. So uh, Bryan Danielson would in still be competing at Arthur Ashe Stadium. So you won't be deprived of uh, seeing Bryan Danielson compete, and in my opinion, also CM Punk.
So as of now, it looks like if he debuts, he's going straight to the top. He has to confront Kenny Omega at the pay-per-view, right?
I guess so.
Like if Punk
As
is
of
going
this
for
point,
Darby, then who? I think that's the only logical way to debut him. Show up at the end of the pay-per-view.
yes. As of this point, I believe so. I believe in that too.
But there you go, man. If you're getting at the pay-per-view, good enough. At least he's coming in.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
regarding this, so now we have CM Punk. He's a big signee. Bryan Daniels is coming in. He's a big signee. There is some speculation about Bray Wyatt and Adam Cole, which is up in the air still. But did you hear this thing from Tony Khan that he wants to make a bit more additions to the AEW roster in the next 4 to 6 months? So a while back we discussed about this, that if the AEW roster is getting crowded or not. And here, Tony Khan is hell bent on getting every big name in the market, and like he wants to sign them. He wants to make them part of the AEW roster. So, what do you think about this situation over here?
Yes, as you just said that we talked about it at length. The thing is that if you, are in the place of Tony Khan and you want to, make your brand All Elite Wrestling as, well known worldwide as possible, then you would go out of your way to sign, guys who are, you know, known. In the world, so to speak. So you would think about signing guys. So you know he has said, as you just mentioned, that he would probably be signing guys 5 or 6 in the coming time. So you know if the opportunity comes about, why wouldn't he strike regarding that? If you have an opportunity to sign, uh, let's say, Charlotte Flair, why wouldn't you sign her? If you have an opportunity to sign the likes of Sasha Banks, why wouldn't you sign her? You have the opportunity to sign AJ Styles or uh, Prince David, why wouldn't you sign him? So it is an opportunity so as to get those guys, and they have penetrated the hearts and the minds of the fans worldwide. So why wouldn't you get those guys in on your roster and get your brand aware worldwide and sign television deals, get your money in, and penetrate the markets internationally in Mexico, Australia, Canada, India. you know the countries are endless. So if you want to exist, or you want to compete, or you want to uh, you can say be counted on the level of, let's say, WWE. So you would want that worldwide recognition. So you would want that. Just an instance is the signing of CM Punk. CM Punk's signing of to All Elite Wrestling, it transcended wrestling publications. It even went to our Indian meme pages, and so to speak, to the masses. So
if you
that speaks
if you
volumes.
if you make in our Indian meme pages, then you are globally, you get my point, right?
Yes, absolutely. And, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes that how big of a signee CM Punk was. You can say that, he is not a quote unquote needle mover, so to speak, regarding the ratings of uh, United States of America. But the fact is that, he penetrated the markets worldwide, and it is, known that CM Punk is back in wrestling and he signed with All Elite Wrestling. And, many people have, tuned in. The wrestling is not just, uh, you know, specific to United States of America. It is, worldwide. Now it is, seen worldwide. The mediums to watch is are, endless. You can watch here in India on television on Eurosports. If you're talking about All Elite Wrestling, you can watch it on Discovery Plus app for free. It is available. You do not need a subscription to watch the weekly product, both the shows. So, it is there. You do not even want to illegal stream now. So, that speaks volumes so as to how big of a deal it is to sign, these guys who have, worldwide recognition based on their talent and based on where they have competed, so to speak. So, you know, regarding just as you said that the TV time is specific, but the talent pool is endless. So that is why we are seeing Impact Wrestling also signing guys. uh, I guess Murphy and Bray Wyatt are being heavily pushed by Impact Wrestling to get signed, and probably Impact Wrestling would succeed. It is we'll have to wait and see, and it is good for Impact Wrestling to sign those guys so that any company signs those guys, they can compete. In any promotion, they can cross promotion matches we have, or all we have right now, the forbidden door, so to speak. So you know it is a very interesting thing. So Tony Khan would be and he has the finances, so he would be very smart regarding his investment, that who is worthy of that I can sign, and who can work with me based on other promotions signing those guys, or even uh, the guys being independent contractors. They can work one or two matches, and if I see long term potential in them, then I can sign those guys for long term deals.
But yeah, you made a strong point here regarding the signings and the size of the roster. But I think as of now, let's kind of close the checkbook. You get in the big names, and then you close the checkbook for this year, and don't get it till the end of 2022, or unless we see another big free agent in the market.
Absolutely, and he would be, smart enough so as to only open his checkbook for the big guys now only, just like the people I just mentioned, AJ Styles, or Prince David, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair. Those are near about those the stature of those people. Braun Strowman, they didn't sign. Impact Wrestling probably has a, way through in that regard. So, he is being smart. So, give him the benefit of the doubt.
But we got yet another small little news, and this is regarding Jim Ross. So there is some, inner rumblings, you could say, within AEW that once his contract comes up, I exactly don't know the date or the timeline here. But when Jim Ross's AEW contract comes up, so when they negotiate a new one, it won't be as a active, you could say, commentator. He might be transitioning into other roles. He will be on TV, but other roles outside the desk. And yeah, that's the big news going on, is that Jim Ross might be slowly walking away from the commentary booth. So interesting, if you ask me.
Yes, interesting. And also he tweeted, in response to such news that is news to me. But I guess he would be knowing that, and the guys who uh, broke the said news broke the news regarding the signing of Bryan Danielson of CM Punk. So I think that it is quite close to the truth, or there has been some talks internally, possibly, regarding the said thing.
Like if
I
it's
guess that, yes, please.
like if it's not true, then you could consider something like that in the future.
Yes. AW might consider, but you know, you can ask, my personal opinion. I think that he is an asset, in the commentary booth. Yes, he, does, and he commits, mistakes here and there. But the fact is that his voice and, when he, calls the action, and you can, just say that it adds, something to the movement. There have been numerous, it can be regarding when CM Punk made his debut. It can be, many other numerous things. But yes, the fact is that he might be, transitioning to another role. And, the heat on Jim Ross has been there since, the time when he was uh, calling the action for the weekly product of New Japan Pro Wrestling. That, the guys were not very fond of him, and many guys are on the roster of AEW right now. But the fact is that Jericho and JR have been the core catalysts of this company even coming into existence. Yes, Tony Khan has been, but the fact is that JR and Chris Jericho have been, the core catalyst of this company coming into existence. So the fact is that, uh, yes, a little gratitude is in should be in place. And the fact is, you know, if uh, these, some guys do not like him based on the fact that sometimes his prejudice, his opinion, comes out, you know, many a times, in we have seen in interviews, or and we have also sometimes seen on commentary that, it comes out that he is not fond of certain, types of, sports or wrestling, so to speak. But he has done quite of work in that regard, recently. But if the heat increases in that regard, then he would be transitioning to another role, but I guess he adds, to the calling of the action, in my opinion. The for instance, Excalibur is also, new regarding calling action for television. So JR, guides him regarding, calling the action. So, you know, there
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
yes,
He is
please.
a good enough commentator still, excluding the bloopers and the botches. But like we said, if they want to do something like that, they could do that. And the one thing I forgot to mention when I say transition, they are not, completely taking away from the, this commentary team or something like that. He will be doing mostly the sit down interviews that AW has done in the past and still are doing. Like we have one on this upcoming Dynamite. So he'll be doing that type of roles.
Hmm. Hmm. That is good. You know, uh, he had a sit down interview, which is in legendary. That was, I guess, with the Triple H, which was the inception of the game character of Triple H. So he has been great in that regard. So let's see what comes into play with regards to this whole news. If they transition him and he is open to that, well and good. But you know he is an asset regarding commentary, that is, in in my opinion, he is still great uh, regarding commentary.
But if that transition happens, you know who to bring in that top spot.
uh, they uh, you know they have they can bring in Mauro Ronaldo, or sometime, I guess, on Rampage, someone said that Chris Jericho is going away and transitioning into a full time, or you can say a commentary role. Someone said, I don't know at this point if that indeed is happening. I don't know.
Mm, let's wait and see. I'm still hoping that happens. Moro Ronaldo does become part of AEW in some form or fashion, but let's wait and see. But shall we talk about the actual Rampage show here?
Yes.
So they opened with a Jurassic Express versus the Lucha Bros. So this was the finals of the tag team tournament. The number one contender will be crowned here, and he gets a shot for the tag titles at the pay per view inside of a steel cage. So this matchup here, this was a, you could say, hot, solid spot fest opener on this show. What you think about it?
Agreed, agreed. I also thought that it was a very competitive and entertaining match. The entertainment aspect also got brought about with the very close, multiple near falls, which happened, during the course of the, match. We could say that it in the second half of the match, and you know there is this complaint, regarding the, you could say, the commentary, but I would say the match too, that there was no mention of the Andrade storyline. You got the Lucha Bros winning, but there was no mention of the Andrade storyline. That Andrade, was, you could say, ogling them and, saying the fact that you cannot win gold, on your own and blah, blah, blah. Yes, I understand that they are the Lucha Libre AAA tag team champions, but the fact is that this, uh, you know, storyline is AEW centric. So you are still playing off of that. So you could mention that, and that only adds spice to the pay-per-view match. Uh, I don't know why they did not even bother to mention it even once. It didn't got mentioned even once during this match.
The
I don't know
commentary,
why.
even the commentary team is so weird here with the four-man booth, so it gets tough to get to know about these stories. At least in Dynamite, you will get Excalibur, at least throw in the references, get the story out there. Here, if Excalibur does that, on the other side, you have Jericho shouting. Then we have Mark Henry adding in some points. Then we have Taz doing his typical Taz type of commentary, which is good. So we get confused on whom to listen and what are these guys talking about. So that's the whole four-man booth in a nutshell.
And at the start, they also, addressed Chris Jericho shouting, and he just said that I yell, I shout. I immediately thought of you.
Yeah. At least,
you complaining.
At least this week, he little toned down a little bit, I guess.
Yes.
So that's good. But about this match, like I said, a very hot opener with all the spot fest, wrestling here. Obviously, it's the Lucha Bros. Like Phoenix is on the top of his game. Pentagon, he is the one you could say riles up the crowd. Gets the fan invested in. He's super charismatic. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, they are great on their own as well. So there were a lot of spots. Like we said, we'll be talking about the spots here. Like there was one bit where both Jungle Boy and Phoenix, they were doing something on the ropes. So I think Jungle Boy was about to do some dive on Pentagon, and Phoenix just tight walks on the ropes, and I think he does a Hurricanrana that sends Jungle Boy flying on top of the other guys, even Marco Stunt as well. So as we get to the end parts, we see a bunch of destroyers. First off, it was Pentagon. He hit a destroyer on Jungle Boy on the apron. Then Phoenix effortlessly hit a destroyer on Luchasaurus, which looked great. So we get to the final parts here. Jungle Boy is taken down. So Luchasaurus is taken down. No. Let me rephrase that. It was actually Jungle Boy. He was taken out of the match. We get to Luchasaurus here. So the Lucha Bros, they hit a double team pile driver, and that got them the victory here. Good enough match, but the outcome. Let's talk about the outcome. It was kind of shocking, I guess, because everyone was kind of predicting that, seeing the story that we have seen in this tag division and the tag title scenario. It would have made sense if Jurassic Express got yet another tag title shot, because the first time they were kind of screwed, and if you get the second rematch and with the steel cage in addition, it would have made sense, if I guess. But I think being this is AEW, they didn't want to give you another rematch, I guess. They wanted to give you a fresh matchup. Even though Lucha Bros, Young Bucks, it has happened in the past, but we are 2 years removed from their last encounter, so it's kind of a fresh matchup. So, what do you think about this whole scenario that Lucha Bros will be getting the tag title shot at the pay-per-view?
Uh, last week I said that if Jurassic Express would be winning, then there is a chance that they might dethrone the Young Bucks. But if Lucha Bros are winning, there is little to less chance that they would dethrone the Young Bucks. So the motive behind booking Bucks versus Lucha Bros is simply to you know you could say have a great match, have a great match. All Out has been booked as such. You know there is so much on the card that it tries to uh, outwork each other. You know, there is CM Punk versus Darby Allin. There is Pac versus Andrade. Now there is Bucks versus Lucha Bros. They have to outdo one another so as to make this show must see. This show is must see now. Yeah, every match at this point, I guess that you won't be thinking that I can miss this one, I can this miss this one. I guess they want to make this pay-per-view memorable. That is basically their motive at this point. CM Punk is returning in the ring. How can you outdo that? Book, you know, Bucks versus Lucha Bros. Do it in a steel cage. Go fucking all out. You would be seeing, Phoenix doing a fucking dive from the top. You would see that. There is no doubt about that. You would see fucking, out of this world, insane shit, uh, on this pay-per-view. So, gear up only, I can say. So, that would probably be the only motive. And I would expect that, Bucks would be retaining in some fashion. Uh, how they would, go about that, that is, up to the, you know, the bookers, so as to how they come about regarding that. So let's see.
You know what? I think this was the best opportunity to get the titles of the Bucks.
Agreed. Agreed. But they want to, I guess, uh, put out the best show possible. And I guess after CM Punk coming to the fold, you would expect new eyes coming to your product. So you want to put out the best product possible so as to make new fans, and the new fans coming in, uh, make them stay, make them stay to your product, and they watch a product that is fucking out of this world. So they are making sure of that. That is basically their motive at this point.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. If you want to have Bucks retain, do that. Want to put the title on Lucha Bros, you can do that. At least win or loss, I have faith that at least they will be putting over. Putting over in means when the time comes to drop the title, you will drop it to another top hot baby face tag team. If not, if it's not Lucha Bros, not Jurassic Express, you can drop it to someone like Proud and Powerful.
Yes, agreed. And they have booked Santana Ortiz, Proud and Powerful, FTR in next week's Dynamite. Yes, their hype has gone you know, down, so to speak. The emotion was there, so to speak. But I expect a solid match next week. I wanted it to be on the pay-per-view, but it is so stacked. So I guess they won't be booking that possibly.
It's in a way next week's match regarding FTR and Proud and Powerful is the quote unquote retirement for FTR as a tag team. Have you seen the things they're doing? Really going all out, no pun intended, with the injury stuff and trying to work the fans. Like I still kind of believe that it's really it for casual in a way.
I hope it's not. I hope that probably they make an appearance tomorrow at NWA 73. Let's see, and confront the tag team champions.
But anyways, so I don't know what's the prediction regarding the tag titles at the pay-per-view, but I can predict that Pentagon is going to hit a super Canadian destroyer on Matt Jackson from the top of the steel cage. I won't be surprised if I see that shit. Anyways, moving on. We actually had some involvement of CM Punk and Darby Allin through some video package, which is actually part of the, the hype show, you could say. What's the actual word I'm looking for?
The countdown to All Out.
Yes. So they kind of showed you a trailer for that show, involving CM Punk, Darby Allin, and the rest of the guys that will be part of All Out. So gonna try and check that out. But we were scheduled to see the TNT champion Miro. So he came out, but he didn't come out alone. He dragged newly signed Fuego del Sol to the ring, and Fuego is begging the Redeemer to spare him. So if you didn't notice Miro's promo lately, he has been mentioning a lot of Fuego del Sol, and at one point even said that he forgives Fuego for his quote unquote sin. But we see Fuego, Miro is toying around with Fuego, and he said that, "Hey Fuego, show the world your real face." And just like nothing, he rips off Fuego's mask and kicks him in the face. I love Miro, man, but he did my boy Fuego wrong, man. Like, what a prick.
That's his character, and he's doing full justice to it.
So, by the way, Fuego was not the only guy that he has been mentioning for weeks. There is another guy named Eddie Kingston. Even he shows up, and he kind of wanted to talk something on the mic, but he said, "Screw this," and rushed towards the ring, and we see a big brawl. We see Kingston, tossing Miro from one side to the another. So we saw officials coming out to break up this brawl, and that's about it. So we would learn later on that Tony Khan has made this match official. Eddie Kingston will be getting a TNT title shot against Miro at All Out. So before we get your thoughts, Abby, I was kind of predicting that Miro versus Eddie Kingston, they could have done this at Arthur Ashe, New York, but I don't know if it's a similar case like Bryan Danielson. So decided to
Hmm.
let's put it on All Out itself and get this done with. So thoughts on this match, Abby, and anything they could do to get a little more excited for this match.
Um, you know, these both guys are, great promos. I wanted, these both of them to, exchange promos among one another so as to build towards that match. They are both excellent on the mic, and they can, draw the crowd in, get them invested, and then give that match. You know, build that match. Don't just throw away that match. You are filling your card with, this TNT Championship match based on, just the fact that you got to have a match. If the case is like you just said that you got to crown the champion in front of a crowd, so to speak, then uh, okay, but the fact is I still wanted that there would have been a a solid build to that, a solid build to that, more promos back and forth, and then go about that. Both the guys are greatly gifted on the mic. They can do that, and then the crowd is invested from the start in the story. Have the match. In the match, they get you invested. Then Kingston gets the championship. It's it's a home run. But right now, I probably wouldn't want Kingston to win the championship. But if you are crowning him with the gold just because that the Arthur Ashe show is in jeopardy, or is in is in doubt regarding the lockdown thing, so I can give you a pass regarding that. But I would have much liked, that there is a build to that, because both the guys are extremely talented on the stick.
But the addition of this match on the card, it's this there. If you had done this on the New York show, that this match would have gotten a bigger spot, more eyes, if I am not wrong. Yeah, the pay-per-view spot, it
Mm,
works, but if you put it on the Grand Slam show, it could easily main event that. And if the decision is to crown Kingston in his hometown, how big of a moment that could be.
they Yes, absolutely agreed. Absolutely agree. They can do that still. They can give the match right now, and Miro wins via some fluke, and then Kingston continues to uh, vie for the championship, and you know comes about that, and then he gets his chance at the Arthur Ashe show, and the crowd is there, and boom, he goes out with the championship, and the crowd also gets invested in the in his quest for the championship as the weeks go by till the Arthur Ashe show, and we can stay optimistic. Uh, there won't be any problems regarding the Arthur Ashe show, and then uh, you know Kingston gets the TNT championship.
So moving on, we had Ty Conti versus the Bunny. So I think this match came about after the small interaction they had at Dynamite. And to add further, these two ladies will be part of the Casino Battle Royal. So they had a little match here. It was kind of decent-ish. Ty Conti looked great here. Like at one point, she was really, putting in like those signature kicks of hers, like going from one corner
Hmm.
to another. Like, and she was on the verge of, getting the victory here. But here comes Penelope Ford, and she caused the distraction. So this allowed, I think, on the other side we had the Blade. He handed out some brace knucks to the bunny. She used it and got the victory on Ty Conti, and that's about it. Nothing much. Anything you wanted to add on this match?
Um, I thought, as you just said, decent match, and you know, the bunny has, upped her game, so to speak. Her character really comes out, to the viewers, to us, through, and the commentators, really put her over, as such. Her, you can say she's her crazy character, so to speak. Uh, she is a part of the HFO with the Blade, and you know she has upped her game. And you need such a character, a villain or a heel, so to speak, so as to you want to get the the women who are baby faces, to get them over with the crowd. You need such a character. So she's doing her, you can say, her role to uh, a, a good a good extent, so to speak, and she is only going to get better as the time goes by.
But
And yes.
yeah, you're saying.
And regarding Penelope Ford, we still haven't seen Kip Sabian. I don't know where he is. They have just written him off television after he got ambushed by Miro.
The injury,
I don't know.
the wrist or arm injury, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's
And
recovered, I guess. I think he's recovered because he's coming to this recent Dynamite and Rampage shows.
mm-hmm. So they just have to write him in the story, so to speak. I guess the first interaction would be, with Miro, but they have to, write that, that how it comes about, and it makes such an impact, so to speak, that it really, counters what Miro did to him. So,
But
looking forward to it.
like, what are we expecting here? A babyface Kip Sabian?
I suppose.
I don't know, but let's see. So, shall we move on to the main event though?
Yes.
So, it was Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian versus Kenny Omega, and like Excalibur says, what's the word he calls for Brandon Cutler? Some stooge, I guess.
Uh,
The official stooge or the number one stooge, something like that. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, so this was a sort of, you could say, tag match here. Like it was not main event ish, and the match was, it was just there because of Brandon Cutler, I guess. But I will give it to him for, he was kind of a lot, not kind of, a lot of just goofy shit in the match. But at least he took some really good bumps for the baby faces. I will give him that. So,
Yes.
yeah, as we get to the end, we did see some, interactions or sorry, interruptions from Don Callis and Nakazawa and the other guys. But as we get to the end, Kenny Omega, he left Brandon Cutler and just decided to leave the match. So the babyfaces started beating up Brandon Cutler again. So we see Christian Cage hit a kill switch to end the match, and that's about it. Nothing much, Abby. What you think?
Hmm. Nothing much. Just like you said, it was a typical, you could say, some would categorize it as a WWE, match, but the fact is that it was you couldn't say a typical heel versus babyface match. On one side you have a chicken shit heel, and on the other side you have the baby faces. Kenny Omega, the chicken shit heel, he used Brandon Cutler as a human shield, so to speak, and he didn't want to interact or face any of the baby faces, Kazarian or Christian Cage, at any point of time. So he used Brandon Cutler to his advantage, and when they were at an advantage, that is when he entered the ring. uh, Typical chicken shit heel antics, and it works to the character. This was a character based match. Overall, we know Brandon Cutler can do aerial maneuvers, lucha libre thing, and stuff like that, but the fact is that his character doesn't you know it doesn't allow that. His character is like a young boy, so to speak, with the spray and being quote unquote a slave, so to speak. And so that is what he did. He didn't wrestle, he didn't show his wrestling prowess. He did what his character wants him to do, and it works. When did it get a reaction? Did Kenny Omega's antics, did Brandon Cutler's antics get a reaction? If it did, if it made you hate them, mission accomplished. That is what they want you. They don't want you to like Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is a great wrestler. That is universally known. But the fact is, they do not want you to like the guy because he's a heel, he's a villain, so he would do such shit. He won't, I guess, in my opinion, would give you. He shouldn't, on a weekly basis or even probably a pay-per-view. He shouldn't give you 5-star, 7-star matches, because that makes people like him, like him, adore him being Kenny Omega. So he is trying to do, or he should do, what is in accordance to his character, being a heel, not the cool heel, the heel. That is make you hate him. Yes, he can do all that, shit and stuff like that, but he is toning down voluntarily to make you hate him. Don Callis is the perfect guy to give him the said wisdom, that how to work the character, not the modern day professional wrestling that is based on spots and submission maneuvers and stuff like that. No, based on the character, based on how to work the crowd, not work the wrestler in the ring, work the crowd. That is essential. If you work the crowd, you get their reaction, mission accomplished. You do not need to go 60 minutes. You do not need to go 40 minutes with ample of maneuvers and break down your body into pieces. You do not need to do that. When you are on the top of your game, you are the champion. Work your character, make them hate you, make them hate you that they want a guy to beat you for the championship. That is when the baby face goes up. That is when people would find solace in guy like Bryan Danielson or Hangman Adam Page or CM Punk, and the so far so forth. So that is what is making it right now. So I can understand that people were complaining and bitching and moaning regarding this match, but the fact is that it was a filler, but it was essential to his character development, so to speak. It made you hate Kenny Omega. Mission accomplished.
But about this build for their pay-per-view match, I liked that they added this personal element of Christian Cage and Dom Callis, and I mentioned it on the Dynamite review, where they have brought up the story of Christian Cage, where Callis kind of fired or blackballed, whatever call it, Christian Cage, and just ran him away from the Canadian territory, something like that. So I like that story, and even I like the part where Christian calls him a carny piece of shit, and now that has caught on to the crowd. So that is good. You at least have some investment on this match. You are not being
Yes.
overshadowed by any other match on the card. So you got your story. So you got the fans hooked in. Rest.
Yes.
The only thing left is to have a good enough match, which they will knock it out of the park.
Agreed. Agreed. And there was this, story regarding, I guess it was regarding this storyline only, that they also wanted to bring in Gangrel, but they, stopped after, Edge did his Brood entrance on SmackDown, and then he did it on SummerSlam. So AEW, stopped, and they, Gangrel from coming in. AEW, and probably Gangrel would have been at ringside with Christian Cage, possibly, and Christian Cage could have had possibly a Brood entrance at All Out.
But
Possibly,
yeah, it is kind of a smart way that they AEW pulled the idea back, because they could have gotten unnecessary backlash for that. Like, see, now
yes,
they want to hop on the Brood bandwagon, AEW. So,
yes, yes, and I just wanted to add that we cannot say, and nobody can, that who had the idea first, that and it went about to the other side, and or both the sides had a similar idea and WWE executed it
first.
first. But if someone had it first, like AW had it first, and then it traveled to the other side, and they executed it first, that is just a piece of shit, thing.
Did you hear that Edge was heartbroken when he learned about this story that Gangrel wanted to do the same thing with Christian in AEW? His heart broke completely.
No, I didn't.
Like, that was the story. Like, Gangrel and Edge had a phone conversation. Like, Edge was full happy at first that he was able to do this shit with the Brood homage, Gangrel homage, and was happy that now that everyone is talking about this entrance. Gangrel will be getting even more bookings and conventions, etc., etc. Then Gangrel told him this AEW story, and he was like, shit, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, at least Gangrel couldn't do the entrance, but the fun part is he didn't do the appearance, but he at least got paid by Tony Khan.
Yes, he got paid, and he would possibly be getting, as you just said, getting more bookings at this point. He is also running a wrestling school, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and by the way, I think, was it Rikishi or Gangrel who trained Miro?
I'm not aware of that.
Gangrel has trained someone, but yeah, you are right on that. He's doing a wrestling school, something like that. But everyone is happy, man. And on that note, this was your Rampage review. So before we leave, Abhi, where can these guys find you?
Yes. Guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AbbyManiac.
And you can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at SlamHubW, Instagram at Slamhub Wrestling. You can catch this review on Anchor and Spotify as well. This was the AEW Rampage review, and I'll see you guys next time.